Hi everyone. I received a special request from Zainab Asfat to do factorization of trinomials. So here goes. Firstly, a trinomial is an expression with three terms. Example, a squared plus 9a plus 14. Now when we look at an expression, the first thing we should always do is look for a common factor. Looking at this, we can see that there's none. So that means we are going to open up two brackets. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at a squared. Now a squared is equal to a times a. We're going to look at our trinomial and we see we have a plus here and a plus here. So our bracket is going to have a plus and a plus. The next step is to find factors of the last term. So factors of 14. Now 14 is equal to 14 times 1 and 7 times 2. Now we're going to look at which of these two, when we add them, we get the middle term, which is 9. Now 14 plus 1 will give us 15. 7 plus 2 will give us 9. So that is the one that we are going to use. So our brackets is going to have 7 and 2. You can always check your answer here by multiplying these two expressions. When you multiply them, you should get this question here. Let's do another example. Let's say I have x squared minus 6x plus 9. First step, look for a common factor. Here we have none. So we are going to open up two brackets. We have an x squared here, so I'm going to put an x and an x. Now, if I have a minus and then a plus, then both my brackets are going to have minus. Now we're going to look at the factors of the last term, which is 9. Now 9 is equal to 9 times 1 and 3 times 3. And we're going to look at these two. Which one, when we add them, will get the middle term, which is 6. Now 9 plus 1 is 10, but 3 plus 3 is 6. So that is the one that we are going to use. So I'm going to have a 3 there and a 3 there. And that is your answer. Let's look at something a little bit more complicated. Let's say I have x squared minus 13x minus 30. There's no common factor here, so my next step will be to open up two brackets. I have an x squared here, so I'm going to put an x and an x. Now because I have a minus here and a minus here, that means that in my brackets, 1 has to be a minus and 1 has to be a plus. Now let's look at factors of the last term, which is 30. Now 30 is equal to 30 times 1, 15 times 2, 10 times 3, and 6 times 5. Now here's the tricky part. Because one has to be negative and one positive, we're going to look at the sign of the middle term in our question, which is a minus. Therefore, when we add these two, the bigger number needs to be a minus. So if I say minus 30 plus 1, I'll get minus 29. If I say minus 15 plus 2, I'll get minus 13. Minus 10 plus 3 will give me minus 7. And minus 6 plus 5 will give me minus 1. Obviously, we can see from here, we have a minus 13 here. So that's the one that we are going to take. That's minus 15 and plus 2. Let's do one more example. In this example, I have y squared plus 7y minus 30. First step, look for a common factor. We have none here, so I'm going to open up 2 brackets. Y squared here, so I'm going to have a y and a y. Now, because I have a plus and a minus here, that means one of my brackets needs to be a plus and one needs to be a minus. Let's look at factors of the last term, 30. 30 is equal to 30 times 1, 15 times 2, 10 times 3, and 6 times 5. Now here the bigger number needs to be a plus because our middle term is a plus. So I'm going to say plus 30 minus 1 will give us plus 29. Plus 15 minus 2 will give us plus 13. Plus 10 minus 3 will give us plus 7. And plus 6 minus 5 will give us plus 1. We have a plus 7 here, so obviously we are looking at that one. So that's plus 10 and minus 3. Let's do a quick recap. If my trinomial has a plus and a plus, so a squared plus 9a plus 14, then my brackets are going to have a plus and a plus. If I have a minus and then a plus, then both my brackets are going to have a minus and a minus. But if I have, let's say, minus and a minus, or if I have a plus and then a minus, then in these instances, one of my brackets is going to be a plus and one is going to be a minus. So let's look at that again. If I have a plus and a plus here, then both brackets are going to be plus and plus. If I have a minus and then a plus, then both brackets are going to be a minus and a minus. But if I have in these circumstances a minus minus or plus minus, then one of my brackets is going to be a plus and one is going to be a minus. I know this looks very tricky. I hope it helped you, and as always, practice makes perfect. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye.